Good morning, everyone. It's Monday. It is so rainy and cold and foggy today. I'm getting my notes together for you to talk about the creation of big picture goals. So I've got a question. Do you ever desire to have vision? Like you wish that you were able to have vision, but aren't sure where to start? That was me, like 3 years ago. Do you ever eye roll when people talk about vision and mission? Do you eye roll when they talk about purpose? Ariana, good morning. It is so good to see you here. I'm really glad you're here. Do you, Ariana, ever eye roll when people are talking about goal setting and planning and life purpose and all of that? Well, today is for you if you are one of those people. It's also for you if you're someone who doesn't eye roll it and just wishes that you could have a little bit more clarity around what's happening. This is a teaser. So in the SpeakEasy Cooperative, we do some very cool thing. We do several continuing education opportunities every month, and the Tuesday training is kind of a focused training, and tomorrow's training is on creation of big picture goals. So today this is a little teaser because I want to dispel some of the myths that are around this that we tell ourselves, the little stories we tell ourselves around creation of big picture goals today. So if you don't know me already, I am Michelle Marquardt DeVoe, and I am a business strategist and a voice teacher. And I'm a coach, and I help you become the person you want to be and then to run the business that you want to run. So the businesses that you want to run are mission-driven. The businesses that you want to run are lucrative, bringing you money and energy and time. And the business you want to run, you want it to look like you instead of looking like some cookie cutter program or some way that someone else tells you it's supposed to look. So let's get on. Today we are talking about creation of big picture goals, and for this I'm outlining 3 myths. All right, and here they are. We're going to go over the myths. We're going to go over how each myth kind of manifests. And oh, can you hear me? Maybe I should use my microphone. Is that better? Like another. Okay, 3 myths. We're going to talk about how they manifest, and then we're going to talk about what you can do to combat them. Okay, so the first myth, you ready everybody, is I have to know everything about what's going to happen in my life in order to create vision. I have to know every little detail that is going to happen. Before I create vision, I have to know who I want to be. I have to know what I want to achieve in all of my goodness and glory. Okay, that's the first myth. The second myth, thank you, hi Talia, thank you Talia and Ariana for that check-in. I appreciate it. The second myth, and if you are this person that believes this myth, would you like to just like raise your hand maybe, or just say, yep, I've been there, I've thought that. Here's a little hint, by the way. All of these myths are things that I have dealt with, so I know where they come from, right? Okay, second myth, visions, big picture goals, life purpose cannot change or are not supposed to change. If you know your vision, if you know your purpose, it's not going to change. Hey Jennifer, hey Danielle. Third myth, if I don't reach my vision, if I have not fulfilled that big thing the way that I've written it down and all planned it, I have failed. I have failed if it doesn't happen the way that I said it was going to happen in my plan, right? Okay, so those are the 3 myths again. I have to know everything about what's going to happen before I plan. I need more information. Number 2, vision and big picture goal, purpose will never change. And number 3, if I don't reach this thing, I will have failed. Okay, so let's break each one of these things down. I love having my notes because I love all the ideas that come to me and then I forget what I'm going to say. So I've started writing notes. Mary McMurtry is saying, number 3 is holding me back. Christine too. Okay, so let's talk about number 1. I have to know it all. So this manifests as needing more life information, right? Like especially let's say you're pretty young and you're like, well, what if I get married? What if I have children? Those change your life really a lot. What if I decide to move to another nation? What if I decide, what if, right? Like, you're still in the process of deciding about your life. Now, let's just be real and say that late adolescence happens, like, I don't know, until you're dead. So the thing is that you will always have this sense of not knowing what's going to happen, especially if you are a creative. You will always have that sense. So you're needing more information. The second way this manifests is you actually need more how to. Well, I don't know how to create a vision. I don't even really know what that means. What kind of person creates a life vision, right? So you don't feel like you have enough information about even what you're doing. And the third is that you feel that it goes against your personality. So we creatives we are so able to go with the flow. I mean, that's what it takes to be a performer. It takes the ability to get in front of an audience, and if something like goes batshit crazy, you've got to like improvise your way out of that situation. So oftentimes also creatives feel that in our personalities, we can just do whatever we are creative. We want all the options available to us all the time. So manifesting as needing to know more life info, manifesting as needing more how-to info, manifesting as going against our personality is how that number one, I don't have enough information manifests. So here's what I want you to do instead. First of all, I want you to remember, like we talked about last month, planning is a skill. Planning is a skill. Visioning is part of planning. It is also a skill because you have to train your brain to think bigger. You have to train your brain to let go of these myths. You have to train your brain to kind of practice exceeding your expectations, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is go ahead and remove specific outcomes at first if they become obstacles. And I know this is very counterintuitive because everybody says SMART goals, specific, specific, specific. And I do very much believe in specific goals. But if getting caught up in the specificity of visioning is holding you back, just put it aside for a little while. So an example of this would be like, okay, well, I want to, you're thinking that in your head, you're visioning like this. You're saying, well, I know when I retire, I want to live in a house on the coast of Mendocino, and it will have 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, and I will overlook the ocean in the morning and drink my coffee. Okay. If that's the biggest thing you can think of, no shame in that, but you're going to get caught up in the specificity. Back up and say, well, what is general about that brings me to what I want? Because now we're going to start getting into visioning. And this is going to tie into the last one as well. So this is what I really want you to think about. Start general so you have a place to ask questions from. So if you have this really specific, big kind of thing, don't just break it down and say, well, what is well, I want feeling of freedom. I want a feeling of accomplishment, right? So back off away and take out the specific outcomes if they become obstacles. The third way is do some research. So people often say, well, I don't have enough information. It's like, well, then get some information, right? I know that seems very obvious, but I think we have to remind ourselves because, again, with this myth, what happens is there's an assumption that you should already know your vision, right? That it should bubble up from inside of your womb soul, and that it's this divine moment where you just know what you're supposed to do. And then if you have any sort of research or input around you, you have somehow missed the mark. No. You do some research. What do you get interested in? What are you curious about? Go ahead and read books on how to vision. Go ahead and read books on how to plan, right? Okay, so myth number 2. You're welcome, Mary. Mary, oh, look, see, Mary's saying this. Permission to let go of specificity. You are welcome. You are welcome. Yeah. Maybe we should make that a new hashtag. Womb soul. Womb soul. It's a place. I feel like it's like all the connectedness of the chakras from here to here is your womb soul, right? It's bigger than your womb, bigger than your heart. It's a big thing. Myth number 2. Visions, goals, and purpose cannot change. Not true. They change all the time. Now, my argument would be, and we're going to loop around this into a little bit, we're going to loop around into this. So, vision, goals, and purpose absolutely can change. I'm just telling you that right now. You might think you are called to do something or be something. You might feel this deep sense of drive. And then what happens is you have an extreme cognitive dissonance when you hit a moment in your life where you realize maybe something else instead. So that moment of cognitive dissonance, when you think you were supposed to go one way and you realize you were supposed to go a different way, that moment of cognitive dissonance can make or break you. And I'm telling you to embrace it instead of fight it. It's okay if you wake up one day and do not want to teach voice anymore. It's okay if you wake up one day and you want to leave your corporate or your academic gig because you want to own a business teaching voice someday. It is okay if everything that you perceive you have worked for all of a sudden brings you to the perfect moment where you realize you want to do something else. How this manifests is holding on to some story because of your pride or because of your fear, right? I have to stick with this thing. I have to stick with this thing because it's the thing that I said I needed. It's the thing that I spent time in. The second way this manifests is the risk of adopting values. Sometimes when we hit that cognitive dissonance moment, it's because we realize that what we were working for, what we were seeking, what we were visioning out was actually someone else's vision for us that we got caught up in. And I'm going to tell you, that's a way more common thing that I have seen in people than I think most people care to admit. So vision, goals, and purpose absolutely can change. And in some cases, especially if it's an adopted vision, something you've created out of other people's expectations, it must change, right? So what do you do instead? I want you to reframe visioning into a living and breathing and active, expansive thing, because that's what you are. You are a living, breathing, expansive thing. Therefore, of course, your vision, your goals, your dreams are going to follow suit. The second thing is I actually want you to double check to be sure that your goals aren't too small. Oftentimes, and this kind of goes back to that big house on the Mendocino coast, oftentimes the reason why we perceive our vision and goals as changing is because we have mistaken huge accomplishments for vision and mission. So really dig deep and say, is this an actual purpose and a vision thing? Or is this just a really, my sister-in-law likes to call it a big, hairy, audacious goal? Or is it just a huge goal? And so because it feels so big, I am mistaking it for vision. I'm mistaking it for who I'm supposed to be and how I want to walk in the world, right? So that's something I think happens really often as well, right? If it's helpful when you're starting out, you can ask the question, how do I want to feel at the end of my life? How do I want to experience a day like literally a day, like from when I wake up to when I go to bed in 10 years? How do I want to say that my impact has brought, that the impact of my vision has brought? And when you start getting away from the specifics again, which is kind of ironic, right? Like, because we're always talking about specificity, as we said earlier. But when you back up from the specificity, now you start to see through lines. So there's an exercise that we do in the How to Run program, and it's from a branding perspective, but it can totally be used for vision and mission stuff. And that is, you write down every job that you've ever had, and then you try to find the through lines of why you took the job, why you left the job, what you loved about the job, and what you hated about the job, and then how you affected other people in the job. And I mean, you write down every job. You write down, like, I walked the cats around the neighborhood when I was 9. And then you write down, some position that you had at a corporation. Then you write down when you were a hostess at Sweet River Saloon. And then you write down, all of that. You write down all the jobs and you find the through lines. That will actually give you more information about what your internal purpose and your vision is, because it's going to give you information about how you've shown up in the world over and over and over again and what drove you to do that. And then sometimes you'll look at that through line and say, again, adopted values. I was doing all those things because I was told to do them. I was expected to do them. And that will free you up to come up with your own vision. All right. So are you with me still? With me still? We had our number 1, which is I have to know everything. And our number 2 myth, which is visions can't change. So what's going on over here in the comments? Christine saying, yes, I just gave up something that was a vision for a long time. It feels painful and good at the same time. I'm really proud of you, Christine. That's not easy to do. That is not easy to do. Good job. And Jennifer saying, yes, let go the story. Okay, 3rd myth. Here we go. Here's the ouchy one. If I have not fulfilled my mission and vision, I have failed. If I have not fulfilled my mission, if I have not succeeded in reaching what I perceive to be my purpose, then I have failed. This manifests as fear of not starting, right? Fear of starting. So you just don't start. You've already made up a lot of information about what could go wrong, and so that just stops you from trying in the first place. It manifests as a fear of sunk cost. What if I spend a lot of money? Which really digs into kind of some money stories we have, some money mindset stuff that we need to work on. Also, sunk cost of time, sunk cost of life. We watched Soul over the weekend, and I won't give any spoilers, but I think one of the things that is worth looking at this movie for is how it invites us to untangle this story of purpose and specificity. Right? Again, of sunk cost, of missing out. And then it also manifests as fear of losing face. If I put out there that I am going to do something big and wonderful and amazing and impactful, and then I don't, I look the fool. And again, I think that's a little bit of adopting other people's viewpoints of us, right? So how do we combat this? How do we combat this 3rd myth? Take a good look in the mirror and get really honest with yourself about where you succeed. You must. I'm going to tell you one thing that I know for sure. If you cannot point out specific times that you are successful, specific times that you did the right thing at the right time in the right way, specific moments that you felt alive and were your best self, you will not be able to vision. You just won't be able to do it. And so this kind of sub-myth of you're not allowed to think good of yourself, which I'm sorry, but false. I'm not sorry. Why did I say I said I'm sorry? Because I'm used to doing that. This idea that celebrating yourself is arrogance is just, I hate it. And I will tell you right now, like, humility is not recognizing what you're amazing at. That is not humility. Okay? It is just as arrogant to walk around pretending like you're not awesome. False modesty is just as much hubris as thinking too highly of yourself. I'm asking you to get real honest about where you're successful, real honest about who you are, real honest about what you do well, instead of poo-pooing it. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, it's nothing. Especially if you're a woman and you're watching this, I never want to hear you say thank you, it's nothing, ever again. Ever again. When someone shares their sassafras with you, when someone does something sassafras and shares it with you, when you have done a sassafras and you share it and someone is excited for you, I want you to say thank you. It was hard and I did it and I'm proud of myself. I did really well at that. Yes, that is something I did very well. Thank you. Own that. The second thing is mindfulness. The second way we combat this fear of failure is mindfulness. Having your feet in the grass, feeling the cool of the grass at the same time as you are seeing the peak of the mountain. That you can experience what's happening in your life right now, what's going on, what needs to change, what feels good, what feels bad. Knowing that, getting your toes, I imagine toes getting all like, could you ever do that where you like move your toes in the sand or the grass? Feeling that will give you the ability to see the mountaintop. So the more grounded you are in today, the more space it gives you to vision out in the future. So again, this is a teaser for our big training tomorrow. So we'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow inside the SpeakEasy Cooperative. But I want to leave you with one of my favorite exercises from Warren Buffett, actually. And this is designed to give you some information about the difference between huge accomplishments, big tasks, and vision and mission. So the exercise is, if you've done this with me before, you're welcome to do it again, or you're welcome to kind of reflect on what you learned from doing it the last time. So here's the exercise. I want you to get out a piece of paper, and I want you to write down 25 things that you would love to accomplish in your life. Just 25 things. Then what I want you to do, I'm kind of giving away the punchline with this because, you know, it's more impactful when I make you wait a week and then come back and tell you what to do next. But I want you to write down the 25 things. After you've thought through, I want you to go through that list and I want you to pick just 5 things. The 5 most important things that you would have to do in order to know that you are committed to yourself. 25 things you want to, and when I say goals or accomplishments, I don't necessarily mean like my house is clean every day. It could be something like in fact, it would probably be good if it was really something like I want to live every day with moving my body and breathing fresh air, this kind of thing. And then it can also be really, I want to write a series of books that is sold worldwide all over about chia pets. I don't know. So you write your 25 and then you pick your 5 most important. 5 most important. That's the hard part. And then what you're going to do is you're going to separate out the 20 and you're going to look at them and you're going to thank them for their service in your life. And then you are going to cross them out and never touch them again. You're not going to do them. You're not going to focus on them. You're not going to think about them. You're going to give them up. And you're going to focus on the 5. Here's what this does. What it does is it gives us a sense of clarity around what we really want. And it releases us from the story that we are told that we have to keep doing and keep becoming and keep accomplishing in order to have fulfilled a mission and a vision. The other thing that you'll learn is that as you focus and pursue on the top 5, you're actually going to accomplish a lot of the other 20. And in some cases, even more honed in, more impactful versions of the 20, because how you get to the larger vision will be made manifest in the other 20. So focus on the 5. Now, this is why it's really important to know the difference between a vision and a purpose and a really big goal. right? Vision and purpose is not, I mean, people use the word goal, but vision and purpose is about how we live, how we experience our life. And if there's anything inside of us that is experiencing our life as a series of accomplishments, then that's what we have to let go of so that we are experiencing our life as life and then using that life in order to fulfill vision, mission, and purpose that will come clear. It's a symbiotic relationship. Action brings clarity. Action brings knowledge around what the clarity of vision is. So that's it for today. Let's see what's going on in the comment section. Hi, Elizabeth. A lot of people need to watch this live and absorb these lessons. Thanks. Hey, I will always take a compliment. Thank you very much. That being said, share this. Share this with a friend. Share this with someone who needs it. If you know someone that would be helped by these words, please pass it on to them. I would love to have them. I would love to know that they were helped by these words. So definitely need to rewatch and in my own soul searching. Yes, that's okay. Rewatch, masticate. Masticate on it, marinate in it, and meditate on it, right? So Talia's saying, ooh, that's going to be hard. Mary is also saying, ooh, that's going to be hard, right? So go back to why is it hard to cross out that 20? What's the story there? Why is it hard to cross out that 20? What does it mean if you cross it out, right? Now, the good thing about mission and vision and goals and tasks and all of that, again, is that you're in charge. You're in charge. So as soon as you start working through your plan, again, if you want to change it, just change it. But I would encourage you to start making those bigger dreams and bigger plans. Julene says, this was so good. Yay. Focus on the 5. Yeah, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. Those of you who are in the chat that are in SpeakEasy Cooperative, again, we're going to really dig in this tomorrow to the in the Tuesday training. So that, you can ask more questions there as well. And there'll be a little bit of a repeat of what we talked about today, but then obviously the more conversational aspect. Talia, I don't like to let go of my things. Interesting. So I'm gonna challenge you on this. By the way, your picture, oh my gosh, hot like fire. You're so beautiful. You only let go of 20 things, but you kept the 5 most important things. So how is that letting go of all the things? How is that letting go of all the things if you picked the 5 most important things? What freedom could you have in your brain space if you only had 5 things? How would the other 20 things be made manifest? Right? I love, that sounds like a lot though. 20 things sounds like a lot, or 5 things sounds like a lot. Okay, so what that tells me, Talia, if you think that cutting out the 20 things sounds like a lot and 5 doesn't sound like a lot, tells me that you're not thinking big enough. That you have too many accomplishments, too many tasky, so high-level tasks, maybe big, maybe huge accomplishments, but they're very tasky. And that's different than vision and mission and purpose. So that's the thing, is that high-level goals, huge-ass accomplishments are not vision and mission. And that's what this exercise is about, vision and mission. I just want to call attention to what Jennifer just said. Oh, crossing out those 20 means I can't distract myself with non-important tasks. I love your sarcasm, Jennifer. You have such our sense of humor is so similar. So that is exactly it. That's exactly it. Crossing out the 20 means you can't get caught up in the visioning and missioning of things that will not propel you forward when it comes to your impact in the world. And that really is what vision and mission is about, your impact in the world. Okay? All right, everybody, we've been here for a little while. The blog around this hopefully will be up on Thursday. Everybody has finger crosses for me because this week is a busy week. It's a chemo week for my dad, as you might know, he's in chemo. So get on the mailing list if you want to know, hey, the blog is up, here you go. The mailing list, I'll put that link in the chat. To sign up for that, I am using my email list a lot more nowadays. That's one of my goals is consistency in my emailing. You can keep me accountable to that. Hey, where's your email? And then again, kind of as Elizabeth was I invited Elizabeth to do, share this. Share it, let people know about it, have people come and follow the page and get on the mailing list so that we can kind of infiltrate the entire world with awesomeness and purpose, right? There's a quote, and I can't remember it exactly, but it's something along the lines of, the devil doesn't need us, it's basically like, all the devil's got to do is distract us, right? I'm not saying there's a devil or not a devil, but the point is this. All you have to be is distracted in order to not fulfill your purpose and mission. And distraction is more dangerous than anything else. All right? Everyone else, I am Michelle Marquardt DeVoe. I hope this was helpful today. I think it was helpful today. And those of you in SpeakEasy, I will see you tomorrow for the Tuesday training inside SpeakEasy Cooperative. Okay, have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye.